This is the ZNS Network, providing radio and high-definition television services for the entire Bahamas. ZNS Network is operated by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. It is located at Harcourt Rusty Bethel Drive, Centerville, Nassau. Our programming is designed to inform, educate, and entertain. We invite you to join us.
The following is the preamble of the Constitution of the Bahamas, which was made on June 20th, 1973, and came into operation July 10th, 1973.
Whereas 481 years ago, the rediscovery of this family of islands, rocks and keys, heralded the rebirth of the New World. And whereas the people of this family of islands, recognizing that the preservation of their freedom will be guaranteed by a national commitment to self-discipline, industry, loyalty, unity, and an abiding respect for Christian values and the rule of law. Now, know we therefore, we the inheritors of and successors to this family of islands, recognizing the supremacy of God and believing in the fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual, do hereby proclaim in solemn praise the establishment of a free and democratic sovereign nation, founded on spiritual values, and in which no man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone, or their labor exploited, or their lives frustrated by deprivation, and do hereby provide by these articles for the indivisible unity and creation under God of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Coming up in the morning edition,
we believe that the biggest culprits in this are the captains.
New measures being taken in the fight against poaching. Also,
it's a platform similar to Airbnb or Zillow.
A new online real estate platform rolled out, and
I say with all the COVID testing going on, and I'm going to wait 6 to 8 weeks to have this come back, no, sir. We taking it off.
The fight against breast cancer. Those stories and more when the morning edition comes right back.
It is important to take precautions to reduce your risk of getting infected with COVID-19, even when you go to the grocery store. Practice physical distancing that is 6 feet apart from others while you wait in line to enter the store. One person per household needs to go. Use wipes to disinfect the cart or basket handle that you select. Avoid touching your face, unnecessary items, and surfaces. Try to touch only what you are buying. So carry a grocery list to help you move along quickly. Do not forget to wear a cloth mask while you do your shopping and carry hand sanitizer with you. Practice physical distancing that is 6 feet apart from others as you shop and at the cash register. As little time as possible in the store and get enough groceries to last you for a while. Once your groceries are packed and loaded, use hand sanitizer and rub your hands together until they are completely dry. When you come home from the grocery store, take off your shoes at the door and put all of your grocery bags in one area. Disinfect your grocery bags. Rinse produce and wipe down cans and packages with soap and water before you put them away. Wash your hands thoroughly for 20 seconds when you are done. Wash your clothes and your reusable grocery bags.
This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Dawn Davis, thank you so much for tuning in. Amendments to the current Fisheries Act considered an urgent matter for officials at the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources. In an extensive report to the nation on Thursday, Agriculture Minister the Honorable Michael Pintard explained the proposed changes the legislation will bring.
So in an effort to maintain the commercial fishing industry as the exclusive domain of Bahamians, the government of the Bahamas has moved to amend the Current Fisheries Act of 1977, which would prohibit non-Bahamians from working on board Bahamian registered commercial fishing vessels in any capacity. In addition to the amendment of the Fisheries Act, it has also caused the harmonization of the Bahamian Immigration Act, which would ensure the non-issuance of work permits by the department to any foreign individual or person to work as crew on board a Bahamian registered commercial fishing vessel.
Minister Printard said more is also being done to assist in the dismantling of operations by poachers.
All matters are being investigated at this moment, including trying to find the beneficial owners of the vessels that we continue to interdict. It's one thing for us to arrest, incarcerate, fine the crew members, but we believe that the biggest culprits in this are the captains, some of whom have been repeat offenders, and you will see with the amendment to the Fisheries Act that there will be some fairly draconian measures taken to deter them in future. But we also believe the owners, the persons who own these vessels, those are the folks we're going after, and through Ministry of Foreign Affairs and other channels, we are working with neighboring countries in order to investigate that.
Just hours ahead of a holiday weekend lockdown for New Providence and Abaco comes a triple-digit jump in confirmed COVID-19 cases. The Ministry of Health confirming in its latest dashboard that there are 151 additional confirmed cases here in the Bahamas, 115 here in New Providence, 2 in the Berry Islands, 1 each in Grand Bahama and Exuma, with 32 locations still pending. This brings the total number of confirmed cases to 4,864. There were also 39 more recovered cases, bringing that tally to 2,646. The death toll remains at 102. A single confirmed COVID-19 case forces businesses to close for a period of time to allow for deep sanitization and cleaning. Health consultant and director of the National HIV and AIDS and Infectious Disease Program, Dr. Nakia Forbes, says this shouldn't be a surprise, particularly as cases in New Providence escalate.
It's not going to be uncommon to find out that somebody has COVID in the workplace, or maybe was a contact or had a close contact. That should be happening in many workspaces in both the public and private sector right now, I should think. And so I encourage workplaces to make a plan for how to mitigate COVID. And there is a plan for this. Ministry of Health has it, and Public Service also worked with us on that. When an exposure happens in the workplace, then there needs to be multi-sectorial involvement so that there is appropriate contact tracing. We want to know that people who've come in close contact, that is,
Dr. Forbes explains how persons in close contact with an infected case is impacted.
Within 3 to 6 feet of someone who has COVID-19, they may not have been wearing a mask. They've had a prolonged time in contact with that person, more than 15 minutes without a mask on or with a mask on, up close, to be in quarantine. We want that colleague or that contact to be in quarantine and be guided on getting a COVID-19 test at the appropriate time. So there are persons that reach out to guide on that. In brief, if the person develops symptoms, they should go ahead and get tested. If they don't, then probably, if they are close contact, within 14 days, they should be tested.
Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, using the opportunity during his communication in the House of Assembly on Wednesday to appeal to social media influencers. He asked them to encourage their followers to adhere to health guidelines and preventative measures to limit the spread of COVID-19.
Spread the message of unity. Create songs of unity, songs of encouragement, songs of remembering that there should be no gathering. And I say to the entrepreneurs, the young entrepreneurs out there, This is your opportunity to do your part. Create T-shirts with slogans and messages. Let's fight COVID together. United against COVID. And every Friday, Mr. Speaker, I encourage all Bahamians throughout the length and breadth of our country to wear T-shirts with the slogan, anti-COVID, or let's fight COVID. Let's declare Fridays anti-COVID T-shirt day.
The new restrictions for New Providence and Abaco also announced in Parliament on Wednesday, but they won't impact air travel. In fact, the Prime Minister declared that the opening of the international tourism sector still begins on November 1st. That's the date when tourism officials say visitors will no longer have to quarantine upon arrival to the Bahamas.
We cannot get our economy on future back on track unless we beat this pandemic. The reality is, Mr. Speaker, that a massive number of jobs our country depends on are in the tourism sector. Until tourism is back, we are going to continue to face large hurdles. We cannot bring tourism back until COVID-19 is on the run. So, Mr. Speaker, I ask every one of our fellow countrymen and women, for the sake of our families, for the sake of our frontline fighters, for the sake of our economy and our country, let us fight for the future by fighting the COVID-19 together.
American Airlines resumed services on Thursday between Miami International Airport in Florida and 6 Caribbean destinations, including Freeport, Grand Bahama. American will return to Marsh Harbor, Abaco on October 10th. This month, the airline would operate more than 300 weekly flights to 23 Caribbean destinations, including Nassau, Freeport, and Marsh Harbor. The Royal Bahamas Police Force taking the lead in partnering with various communities across the country. Yesterday, residents in the Bain and Grantstown welcomed the police commissioner and his team for a distribution exercise of some essential items. Here's Crystal Darling.
Roughly 300 individuals received personal protective equipment as well as school supplies Thursday afternoon in an initiative led by Commissioner of Police Paul Roll on the Sarah Ingram Park in Bain and Grantstown. Commissioner Roll says this distribution program is especially important as the police force works to strengthen enforcement of emergency orders in the coming days.
It's a small token. And we want to get the message, of course, to persons. So we gave out some face masks. I got a donation of 10,000 face masks. And we gave out, everybody got face masks here this morning. And we want to continue to give those face masks and encourage persons to wear your mask as much as possible, practice social distancing, and let us protect one another as we struggle in this country to get a grip on this coronavirus, which is really making and causing a toll on our community. So again, I want to thank those sponsors. The message I would want to encourage all the Bahamians and residents to let us abide by these rules. The lockdown take effect 7 p.m. tomorrow on Friday, and we will be out, the police will be out and ensuring compliance with it. And so we are asking people to just abide.
Several community residents explained the significance of police presence and assistance in the area.
Very excited, and I'm very glad to see the police inside the community, especially with the rate of how crime is going amongst the young persons. It's good to see that the police force showing initiative, a hands outreach approach to the community.
Many of us ain't as fortunate as some, but we appreciate that the police decide to come down here and be in Grantstown and do some things for us.
It should be a big, major help in the community for the children and for the grown people. It really was a surprise to me to know that people really checking for the grown folks.
And overseer of New Unity Fellowship International Ministry, who has a church across from the park, was also grateful for the police's donation.
This is very important, especially now that we're dealing with the COVID-19, trying to get the kids and the adults alike to this new era and this new lifestyle. And so any protective measure right now that they don't have to pay for is very important, very needed at this time.
Crystal Darling, ZNS Network News.
Well, it's a busy Friday morning here at the intersection of Meadow Street and Blue Hill Road. Already, we've observed many drivers on the road, likely making those final purchases ahead of that 24-hour weekend curfew. On the other side of the break, a look at overnight traffic, as well as tips to drivers when accessing downtown Nassau or western New Providence.
The natural resources of the Bahamas play a critical role in supporting Bahamian livelihoods. For example, the fishing and tourism industry, which include fishermen, seafood exporters, hoteliers, dive operators, restaurants, and others. Collectively, they generate approximately $1.5 billion a year. Therefore, we must respect and preserve what we have. These resources belong to us.
This is my livelihood.
This is my livelihood.
This is my livelihood.
So let's all do our part to maintain our local economy and a good quality of life. Remember, if we take care of nature, nature will take care of us.
You are a healthcare worker. Thank you for fighting on the front lines against COVID-19. It is normal to feel stressed when taking care of others who don't feel well. But remember to take care of yourself. Don't forget to rest between shifts, eat healthy meals, engage in physical activity, and stay connected to family and friends. Avoid harmful coping strategies like drinking alcohol. For managers of healthcare workers, the same tips apply to you. Here's how you can help. Consistently give updates. Rotate staff between high and low stress level functions. Encourage work breaks and ensure that they know where they can find help. We are here for you.
ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Watch our live channel to keep up with what's going on in the nation. News updates, we've got you covered. Tune into our radio stations with just a swipe. On the road, on the go, we're here with you. Available for download on the App Store and the Google Play Store.
Welcome back. Well, Lloyd Allen and the Morning Edition traffic team is standing by with your TGIF morning traffic commute. Good morning, Lloyd.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Well, good morning, LaDon. Good morning, Bahamas. It's a great start to your Friday morning. This morning, we're here at the intersection of Meadow Street and Blue Hill Road. As I said earlier, traffic already in this area is bustling, likely as a result of that persons preparing ahead of that 24-hour weekend curfew. If you're driving in this area, of course, there are no major obstructions, and so you should be able to do so nice and smoothly, of course, with caution. Also, be mindful that throughout the island of New Providence, there remain roadworks, and so, of course, we're advising drivers to drive with caution and care as you make your way to your various destinations. This morning, we're also joined by Sergeant Crestania Johnson from the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division, giving you a look at your Friday overnight traffic.
A pleasant good morning to you and a pleasant good morning, Bahamas. Well, over the 24-hour period, we've had a total of 15 traffic accidents. 13 of those accidents involve damage and 2 of those accidents involve injury. At this time, we still have 6 persons who remain hospitalized as a result of being involved in a traffic accident.
And Officer Johnson, as I said earlier, today is that final day before a person prepare for that 24-hour weekend curfew. And this morning, we've noticed again many persons in this area, and we're also talking about alternate routes into the downtown area or western New Providence. Now, of course, if you're at this intersection here, that's Blue Hill Road and Meadow Street, you can make that left turn off of Blue Hill Road, and there are about 4 exits on the right that you can take leading into downtown Nassau. They include Hospital Lane, West Street, Ruperdine Lane, and finally Augusta Street. Now, once you make that right turn, that's northbound traffic. There's only one major intersection, that's South Street. You are expected to stop there, but once you transition beyond South Street, you then make your way onto Meeting Street. Now, in Meeting Street, there are several options. Drivers can either go straight ahead, which would lead into the Junkanoo Beach area, which is also Bay Street. There are 2 options. You can turn right into downtown Nassau or left into western New Providence. Again, at Meeting Street, if you took a right turn there, that would lead on over to Blue Hill Road, which is a dual carriageway. Drivers can either stay on the right lane, which would lead into downtown Nassau, or the left lane, which would lead into the West Bay Street area. And then finally, at Meeting Street, you can make that left turn, which would lead on over to Nassau Street. There you can make a right turn, which is northbound. That would take you into the Western Esplanade area, which again is Bay Street. You can make a right into downtown Nassau or left into western New Providence. Now, Officer Johnson, that's a mouthful for many drivers who may not be familiar with those areas. Any advice?
Yes, but what is said about the areas that you talked about, that's residential areas. So what we find in residential areas is that 3 things come to mind: the speed, the signal, and we're looking at the signage, and then pedestrian traffic. So let's talk just basically about those 3 things. Speed. Remember, in residential areas, your speed is 25 miles per hour. And as we mentioned yesterday, based on where you're traveling, that speed may have to be decreased based on the road conditions and the conditions that you're dealing with within that environment. And in the inner cities, we find that we have smaller arteries. So if you're taking those traffic arteries and you're turning onto Hospital Lane or Augusta Street, any one of those side corners, you'll find that the corners are shorter, and you're likely to be driving sometimes on a one-way street, sometimes dual-way carriages. So you have to be very careful as you traverse in those throughout the residential area. Additionally, when it comes to your signage, we find that persons do not respect the stop signs within the residential area. You find that they come again utilizing those arteries, they speed right out, not paying attention to the stop sign. So this is a no-no. We want to encourage you as much as possible, if you have to traverse the inner cities and in the residential areas, to be mindful that, hey, we have pedestrian traffic, and we find that usually the elderly and children, they happen to be the ones involved in traffic accidents in these areas. They're the ones who are injured. So as much as possible, we want to advise the general public, if you're utilizing this inner city area, any residential area, to please be mindful that not only motorists are using the streets, but pedestrian traffic as well. One more thing I would like to talk about, and that is certainty. As a driver and even as a pedestrian, you wouldn't want to give mixed signals. If you were going to cross the street, we find that there are not many pedestrian crossings in residential areas. So there are not many pedestrian crossings. Drivers, your role is now to look out for persons that are crossing the street. So that is the case. You want to maintain as a pedestrian eye contact with the driver, and driver, you want to be vigilant. So you want to utilize the road for its purpose, and that is driving, and pedestrians for you to get to where you need to go. So as much as possible, everybody wants to get to where they need to go in a safe manner. So if that is the case, you're going to have to take the necessary precautions in order to make that happen. So in order to make that happen, all of us have to look out for each other, and that is paying attention to the street and what activity it is that you're conducting once you traverse the street.
And then a final mention, of course, today Officer Johnson shared with me that there are several military-based funerals that will be taking place throughout the island as a result of persons trying to get those final arrangements out for their loved ones. And so, of course, in other areas of the island, be cautious of that, as it may cause some obstruction to your driving. That's been a look at your Friday traffic report from the intersection of Meadow Street and Blue Hill Road with Lloyd Allen and Officer Johnson for the morning edition. LaDawn, back to you.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs announcing that Ambassador and Permanent Representative of the Bahamas to the United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland, Her Excellency Keva Bain, has been appointed to serve on the advisory body of the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. The group advises its Secretary General on the broad objectives, content, and structure of regular training courses offered by the organization. These courses are designed to assist capital-based policymakers and help gain a better understanding of trade, investment, finance, and technology. Bain joins 15 other ambassadors on the board. No industry has been spared by the COVID-19 pandemic, including real estate, and that has prompted one young Bahamian to get creative. Antoine Smith has more on this new innovation.
In an age where the real estate market is not so predictable and COVID-19 has forced many to get innovative, one young Bahamian thinks he's come up with a solution to the landscape of problems for the market.
It's a platform similar to Airbnb or Zillow.
Except creator Kyle Barnett calls it Be Realtor. It's a new online platform that allows buyers and sellers right here in the Bahamas the opportunity to take property listings into their own hands, especially in a time when every dollar counts.
Our platform is designed for the person who maybe has a mortgage 20 years, 30 years, and now they've paid 90% of that mortgage, and now they may have to default on that home. So they may have to sell it due to foreclosure. They may have to sell it due to a job loss. So our platform is designed for that, for those type of persons, and for anybody who's selling or renting their property to net as much profit as possible.
Like popular app Airbnb, scouts have the opportunity to browse through a selection of listings posted by owners, complete with 3D virtual tours, information, and pictures. It's a hands-free concept that's been in development for more than a year, but one that Barnett says has especially come in clutch during the pandemic.
And we see that, the whole world right now is moving towards online platforms. And the advantage of this is users can shop online and visit a home with our different features without actually physically walking into a home. So it's perfect for social distancing. It's perfect for mitigating the risk. It's just the ultimate social distance.
According to Forbes magazine, millennials now represent the largest share of the home buying market, many of whom also prefer a quick browse online first. Barnett believes his platform may just be the push many persons need to search for that investment property they always wanted.
A lot of people think that it's so hard to invest in a property. It's so hard to own a property, but it's very easy, and my platform explains the process from start to finish. So before, in the information age, we used to depend on agents to more or less shine the flashlight towards different properties and shine the flashlight on what we should buy. But this platform opens it up.
Antoine Smith, ZNS Network News.
The Grand Bahama Port Authority launching a new initiative that is expected to revitalize the economy of Freeport. But organizing members of the Reef Project say community involvement is needed. Here's Ramiko Knowles.
Principal and Executive Director of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Rupert Hayward, says in a time of economic uncertainty, every community needs a plan. He adds that this is one of the reasons the Reef Project was created. He says results are needed to bring relief to the Bahamian people and produce job opportunities.
We do have many obstacles in Grand Bahama right now, whether it's regulation, whether it's big storms. And we are not going to solve those problems unless we work as a collective body, unless we work with all the stakeholders and all the members of our community to make sure that this vision represents all of our interests. And that's really what REEF is about. It's about creating a short-term action plan, a long-term vision that brings in foreign direct investment so that we can create 10 jobs for every Bahamian, not just 10 Bahamians right now looking for one job.
Director of Operation for the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Filcher Grant, says they've heard the cries of Grand Bahamians, and the Reef Project is so much more than a consultation paper or website. She invites everyone to get involved, as the end result will be a better Freeport.
And we're inviting people to not speak your words into the wind. We spend so much valuable time putting our words in places where they're long forgotten, in chat groups and in videos, Facebook. We're asking you to put your money where your memes are. log on to our website, www.reef.gbpa.com. Read the consultation paper. Take the survey and put your feedback where it will count to make a better Freeport for us and future generations.
Consultant and committee lead Robert Adams says the Reef project is not only important to Freeport's economy, but to the national economy as well. He says a revitalized Freeport will translate into a revitalized Bahamas.
I've said before that the road to a better economic reality for the Bahamas lies through Freeport. And it is my belief that as soon as we can take hold and embrace that vision and implement real change in Freeport in collaboration with central government, we will manifest.
Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Striping group of companies accomplishing another milestone, the completion of the Southern Recreation Park behind the C.L. Walker Senior High School. A number of activities can take place at the venue simultaneously without workout and playground equipment. Project manager Renee Douglas says she appreciates the government's commitment to create positive spaces for the community.
I think it's amazing how this government is placing such a priority on producing public parks like this for giving persons in this community and other neighborhoods around the country the opportunity to get away from it all. They can sit under a shady tree and read a book, or they can work out. There's a place for the kids to play safely. For the older kids, there's a place for them to burn off excess energy, keep them focused and out of trouble. So places like this are definitely important in this community and all others.
Two other features are security cameras and 100% solar lighting. Bahamas Striping President Otario Mitchell says company officials are excited to have incorporated these modern features for the safety and security of all park users.
You can see how the space is not so large, but what we want to do is make sure that the entire park is covered. So we have some 26 cameras mounted and watching over this park. One of the other features that we have here at the park is every light here is 100% solar. So there's no connection to the power station in reference to the lighting of this park. Everything is 100% solar and comes with the highest degree of quality.
Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is a tripart relationship between the Ministry of Finance, the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce, and the University of the Bahamas. And its goal is to help small, medium, and startup businesses to succeed through training development, business development, and access to capital. In this report, Jamila Mizik explains how they're assisting businesses on Grand Bahama.
Businesses on Grand Bahama receiving some much-needed funding thanks to Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center. Senior Business Development Specialist Yvette O'Connell says they started out assisting regular businesses, and then as a result of Hurricane Dorian, they developed a program for businesses that would have experienced damage during the storm called the Disaster Relief Program. She says as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, they then developed a second program called the Business Continuity Program.
We assisted small businesses, 186 businesses here in Grand Bahama, to a total of $4.9 million. For me here in Grand Bahama, it's not just doing a program or assisting individuals. You know, the government devised this program and they saw the need to support small businesses.
Hairstylist and trichologist at Total Restoration Beauty Salon and Barbering School, Sandra Rollins is a recipient of the program. She's been in the industry for almost 40 years and says thanks to Access Accelerator, she was able to get a bigger and better location.
They take a load off my shoulder because I was in the Circle Mall and I lost everything. And because of them, I got better stuff than I had before and more.
Another recipient, Jacqueline Knowles, co-owner of Jackie's Bakery, has been in business since 2013 and says it was her husband, Keith, who encouraged her to try the program.
The application process took a little time, but like she said, since the hurricane and when we had all the paperwork in there, and so everything went quickly, and also advisor Ms. Hannah. She always informed us of whatever grant was given or whatever was coming up, and she told us about that, and then we already had everything in place, so it was easy. And after that, no lie, the hurricane, everything came swiftly.
She says she's appreciative of the program and is encouraging others to apply.
I wasn't too excited to go through the Growth Wheel program, but I see where it's necessary because more or less I was more interested in the practical and tell my husband, you deal with the theory, but it makes you get into the theory part of it, and knowing that and that knowledge, it helps you with the practical and the overall running of the business.
Deputy Director Nicholas Hicks says, to date, Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center has assisted 962 businesses in over 9 islands in the Bahamas with capital. And now on their second anniversary, their budget has increased.
From 25 billion over 5 years to now we're at 55 billion for 1 year, this current year. What this means is that there's more opportunities for training, more opportunities for development, a more efficient SPDC, and most importantly, more opportunities for access to capital for small, medium, and startup businesses. And today I'd like to speak about 2 of those. One is that we have gone from a face-to-face venture where we do training, face-to-face advisory, face-to-face, to now we're doing everything online.
He says for more information, persons can visit accessaccelerator.org or call 602-1051. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
For years, Long Islanders have hoped for the construction of an international airport, allowing visitors to fly directly to that island. That hope is growing closer to reality, with a local company starting plans for the new hub. According to Member of Parliament for the island, Adrian Gibson, a recent meeting with a local architecture firm is hoping to bring the international airport to reality. Gus Ferguson from Ferguson Architects met with Gibson this week, updating plans for the airport. The plans have just been completed and undergoing minor adjustments before the final draft. According to Gibson, the architectural rendering provides a futuristic view of Long Island's socio-economic environment, along with facilities for crash assessments and maintenance. Currently, there are 2 airports on Long Island, Deadman's Key Airport and Stella Maris Airport, which both offer daily scheduled service flights from Nassau. Residents in Rollville, Exuma, are coming to the aid of a longtime neighbor who needed extensive repairs to the roof of her home. The grateful recipient said the repairs carried out free of charge answered a prayer.
About 3 years or so, I was going through putting buckets and pans and stuff, even around my bed, where I sleep, and I cry out for help, and I tried to help myself, but I couldn't have. And me and my husband could have done it because he don't work and I don't work. But like I said before, I appreciate, these young men would come here and went forth and do what they did towards me. But I didn't give up on God because I know, and it felt to me like it was a long, long way coming. But I know one day God was going to work it out for me. And I had faith to believe, I still have faith to believe that we serve a God, we serve an awesome God. We serve a delivering God. We serve a God that we can depend on. And I depend on God. And here I am today, this evening, glowing all over my face. Feel good. When the clouds get dark, I don't have to worry no more. I said, Lord, send the rain so the trees can grow. I said, because the bed ain't going to get no more.
Residents Spence Burrows and Perry Dean explained their role in the project, noting that they were happy to lend a helping hand, while Leonard Stirrup and the project could not have been completed without the support of the construction team and the community.
Strip the whole roof, take off all the old shingles, all the felt, and there was some rotten plywood there that time I had already taken out. So we left out all the plywood, and then we replaced those with brand new plywood. We felted the whole thing, and the following week we came back and we shingled the whole room in 1 day.
It was brought the attention of a lady in Rollville. She goes to the Adventist church, a part of our affiliated church. Her home roof was in a deplorable state, and was brought to our attention by Mr. Vernon Clark that we can assist her as a project. So we took it upon ourselves as men coming together, looking around for sponsors, And we reach out to persons like Mr. Ambrista, Mr. Limit Dion's company, Cecil Smith, Papa George, Margaret and Robert Melvin, Mr. Hart, Everett Hart, the former administrator of Exoma, and
a kind gesture there. Well, when joining the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, having the right attitude is a characteristic most fail to consider. But in this next report, the force has selected one of its Marines to be featured for that very reason with a little something extra. Here's Lloyd Allen.
Put God first.
25-year-old Marine Christopher Moss says walking in his father's footsteps is literally his compass to excellence and becoming a better father to his son.
It makes things easier because I'm always on the right path. I stay out of trouble. I always calculate my next move, in a sense.
On the Defense Force for the past 8 years, his goal from the start has been to explore an honest career, impacting others along the way.
I was placed at the Port Security Unit, so we was involved in a sense of maintaining security for the tourists that comes into the Bahamas. Got to meet new faces every day, got to talk people from around the world, and I was respected. The uniform was respected.
He says while accounting was originally his passion, a deep desire to explore the Bahamas and to expand his horizons guided his career with the RBDF. This was brought to light after Hurricane Dorian and more recently COVID-19 restrictions.
It was the first response to help with the victims of Abaco. The COVID is one like none of us would expect it, but as Marines, we are taught to adapt and deal with it by a day-by-day basis.
Spending most of his days assigned to the base carpentry unit, work for him starts promptly at 7 a.m.
We would get our briefing, and 9 times out of 10, I would be building something. So a regular day would be me using my hands, crafting a project together.
And while his job may seem run-of-the-mill, he says there is at least one thing most people underestimate about this craft.
Precision. A lot of precision is in carpentry and a lot of time. So it's very time-consuming, and everything has to be precise.
Moss adds, while his duties take him to unique environments, he remembers to always perform at his best because there is at least one person who looks up to him, his son.
At the young age he is, I could see where he is following my footsteps in a sense, and he is proud of me. He tells his friends 24/7 what his dad does, and my family the same way. They would show me off in pictures, and every time I put on a different uniform, it's like a celebration for them.
A man of many talents on and off the job, Moss says he feels a sense of pride when representing the RBDF in uniform.
Because I wear my uniform with a sense of pride, and I make sure the pleats are right, I make sure the folds are right, I make sure there's no lint on it. So I think of a sleek car.
And that's been a full rotation of RBDF Able Marine Christopher Moss. Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Good story there, Lloyd. Thanks a lot. Stay close. We've got more right after this. You're watching The Morning Edition.
The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th. When a hurricane alert is issued for your area, which indicates the possibility that you could experience hurricane conditions within 60 hours, you should begin the initial stages of preparation for the storm. When the storm is 48 hours away, a hurricane watch is issued. Once a watch is issued, be sure to get updates from the Met Office via television or radio. Get your battery-powered radio ready. Keep your emergency supply kit, blankets, and sleeping bags handy, and keep children and pets indoors. Be sure you have extra cash and a car tank full of gas. Fill all prescriptions. A hurricane warning means that a storm with winds up to 74 miles per hour or more is 36 hours away. At this point, secure all windows with shutters and plywood. Place your valuables in a waterproof container and store them on the highest floor in your home or in the safest area. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
The country's top tertiary institution snags an international honor. The University of the Bahamas has been awarded the Elution Impact Award, which recognizes higher education institutions that best harness the power of technology to solve challenges, operate more efficiently, and enhance student experience. 5 other institutions received the award, each of which also secured a $25,000 grant.
We're looking for Bahamians to...
If you also wanted to study in the UK, a global scholarship program offers future leaders the opportunity to pursue a 1-year master's degree. Let's listen in to British High Commissioner to the Bahamas, Sarah Dixon, for the details.
We're looking for Bahamians to apply for the Chevening Scholarship. This is a fully funded British government scholarship to study in the UK. You can choose any subject in any UK university, and if you want more detail, go to the Chevening website, chevening.org. Applications close on the 3rd of November.
The Ministry of Education partnering with the Cable Bahamas group of companies and the Rotary Clubs of the Bahamas to support the transition to virtual learning for students across this country in the midst of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. At a press conference on Thursday, Alive's Damian Blackburn noted that nearly 2,000 tablets of the 10,000 slated to be distributed have already been handed out to students in the Southern Bahamas, with more electronic devices set to be given out to students throughout the country in the days ahead. Education Minister, the Honorable Jeffrey Lloyd, thanked Cable Bahamas and Rotary for their support, noting that 40% of students in the public school system, or some 20,000 students, are in need of electronic devices in order to participate in virtual learning. Meantime, the Rotary Clubs of the Bahamas has launched an online fund raising initiatives to support students with the goal of raising $150,000. Stay close. We've got more right after this. You're watching The Morning Edition.
The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th. When a hurricane alert is issued for your area, which indicates the possibility that you could experience hurricane conditions within 60 hours, you should begin the initial stages of preparation for the storm. When the storm is 48 hours away, a hurricane watch is issued. Once a watch is issued, be sure to get updates from the Met Office via television or radio. Get your battery-powered radio ready. Keep your emergency supply kit, blankets, and sleeping bags handy, and keep children and pets indoors. Be sure you have extra cash and a car tank full of gas. Fill all prescriptions. A hurricane warning means that a storm with winds up to 74 miles per hour or more is 36 hours away. At this point, secure all windows with shutters and plywood. Place your valuables in a waterproof container and store them on the highest floor in your home or in the safest area. This public service announcement has been brought to you by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas in conjunction with the National Emergency Management Agency.
Hey, I'm Megan Shepard, a reporter here at the ZNS Northern Service. Did you know that ZNS is right at your fingertips when you download the new ZNS app? Missed something in our newscast? That's okay. Simply pull up the app, swipe, and you'll find all of our news headlines and highlights. So what are you waiting for? Download the new ZNS app today.
Stop in the name of love before you catch that thing. Take it up. Listen to me. You don't want to go nowhere. Stay here. You ain't gonna listen. Oh, you still getting it. You do the chaos. Okay, not a problem. Listen, you gonna need these masks. Since you have to go, you got to put them on one every hour. And listen to me. You're gonna need some gloves. So blow that up, okay? Put these on, and then you know something. You know what? They gonna go up up your nose. Be back in Nassau in 72 hours. It's the Q-tip going up your nose, or you're going in quarantine. You understand? Since you have to go, but be safe. I don't know about you, but I'm going to stay home and try my best to be safe and hand sanitize. Since you have to go, yeah.
This message has been brought to you by the Ministry of Health and this television station.
It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and all month long, the morning team will be highlighting some of the stories of survivors, families of survivors, and those who have lost the fight. This morning, we feature a woman who has been an advocate for a cure for years, but while in remission, the deadly disease returned. But this nearly 20-year-old survivor remains hopeful that all of her hard work in the fight is not in vain.
We could do a needle biopsy or we could do a lumpectomy. I say not doing either. I say with all the COVID testing going on, and I'm going to wait 6 to 8 weeks to have this come back, no, sir. We taking it off.
She may look physically fit now, but back in July, breast cancer survivor Andrea Sweeting had to do something she is all too familiar with, and that is to remove a second lump from her left breast. Sweeting was first diagnosed with the deadly disease in her right breast some 19 years ago, and the Sister breast cancer advocate says she is thankful to God that she caught it early yet again.
July 9th, I took off the left breast. I was supposed to come out of hospital that very next day, which was that Thursday, that Friday. They kept me till the Saturday because they wanted to be sure about the fluids. And honestly and truly, when I went to Dr. Monroe the following week for him to look at it, he was more than shocked. I think I healed on the left side faster than I healed on my right side. It was truly amazing. Could you believe it? It's the same stage, 0 to stage 1, as it was 19 years ago. And so when I look at that, I say to myself, I didn't feel this lump. I didn't even know I had it. But because of this left hand, this is how it came about.
While she is grateful that she did not have to administer chemotherapy in the midst of COVID-19, Sweeting says that if she knew then what she knows now, she would have removed both breasts nearly 2 decades ago.
Insurances don't pay for well breasts. But I wasn't given an option, and I wasn't smart enough to say, well, okay, what is this going to cost me? And I can still take it off. But I didn't have that kind of education in those days. But I tell women right now, for all of us, whatever it is, if you got one, try to do both one time. Since they did the genetic testing is when they started doing more bilaterals than anything else. And so we want persons to realize all of us are acceptable to this. And I think, truthfully, it's more on an increase. During COVID, I am truly grateful and thankful to our frontliners, especially the oncology department, for wanting to actually carry this out. Could you imagine, in addition to all the COVID deaths, what we would have if we didn't actually administer chemotherapy?
The breast cancer warrior gave this advice to women still in the fight of their life.
I want you to understand that please continue, take your treatments, and you'll be over it faster than you think, as fast as these days are going. So, and to be positive. Know within yourself that I have another 6 weeks or 8 weeks to this, and I'm going to be much better. And that's exactly the way you have to look at life.
Meantime, staff at the national flag carrier Bahamas Air is saying farewell to a long-serving employee this week. After giving almost 4 decades of service to the airline, this employee has retired and is embracing a new chapter in her life. Here's Ramiko Knowles.
Well wishes for retiree Shirley Smith coming from Assistant Airport Manager for Bahamas Air, Harold Williams. He says her professionalism and wonderful customer service have propelled her up the ranks over the years.
And during her time here at Bahamas Air, she has been an exemplary employee. She's moved up from customer service agent to the ranks. She became a customer service supervisor and reservations. We'd just like to take this time on behalf of the Managing Director of Bahamas Air, Mr. Tracy Cooper, the Board of Directors, and say to Shirley, we appreciate your time here at Bahamas Air, and we wish you all of the best in your future endeavors.
Assistant Airport Manager Deidre McDonald and Customer Service Supervisor Vinell Aubrey say it was no more than fitting to host a retirement celebration for Shirley, as she is well deserving of it.
Even though it's a closed season, we're here just to say thank you for all the service that you've done. Thank you for what you've done for the Bahamian public at large. And in our small way, say that we appreciate her.
Shirley is a person that is very, very easy to get along with. She's very humble and gentle and mannerly. And when it comes to work, superb. She's an excellent worker, and she's retiring as the reservation supervisor at Bahamas Air in Grand Bahama.
Daughter of the retiree Shadia Cooper says her mother has been a great example for her over the years, and she's happy about the retirement.
She's worked so hard. She sacrificed so much for my sister and I, and although she's taking care of my daughter right now, I would love to see my mom just take that time to invest in herself, travel the world, whatever she desires to do, because she really deserves it.
After 39 years of service, retiree Shirley Smith is walking into a new chapter of her life. And although she looks forward to embarking upon this new journey, she says she will miss the workplace.
I'm going to miss everything. I'm going to miss having to deal with the customers. Sometimes irate customers, but still, the fact is, I'm going to miss dealing with them because I love working with people.
They all send her off with well wishes.
I'll say that this is the first day of the rest of your life, and you're only 27, so you got a long, long career to move and inspire people with the purpose that you came into this earth for.
God is able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all she can ever ask, think, or imagine going forward from today. So I give Shirley, once again, a bon voyage of love from the Father.
Mommy, I love you. Congratulations. All the best on your new venture or whatever it is that God has planned for you. Love you.
Rumiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Thanks a lot, Rumiko. As we head into the holiday weekend, it's time for your Friday workout session with Natasha Brown.
Come on down, Natasha Brown has got you with the ultimate fitness.
Hi, good morning. According to Tom Hopkins, you are your greatest asset. So take the time and put the effort and the money into training, grooming, and encouraging your greatest asset. Thank you for joining Downtown. I've got an awesome 7 exercise workout for you that's going to cater to our legs, our glutes, our back, our shoulders, and our abs all at the same time. Let's get right to it. exercise, you only needed a pair of dumbbells. And make sure choose your weight accordingly. You can do this exercise 45 seconds on, 15 seconds rest. Take your time. Until next time, I am Downtown Natasha Brown, taking you closer to becoming your ultimate you.
This weather report is sponsored by Bank of the Bahamas, the bank of solutions.
This morning for the entire team, I'm LaDawn Davis. Make it a great day, everyone.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
You and Your Money is brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, Lampkin, Knowles & Co., Bahamas Institute of Financial Services, and Doctors Hospital Health System.
Good evening, and welcome to You and Your Money. I'm your host, Javon Butler, and we thank you for joining us this evening. Over the last 12 months, the Bahamas has gone through Hurricane Dorian and the COVID-19 pandemic. Many times we turn on the television and we are bombarded by the information concerning this present pandemic, but still asking ourselves, what is the way forward? Specifically, when we look at our economy, the second pillar is financial services, and there are many opportunities that are available here throughout the Bahamas for those individuals who are presently in the sector or looking to enter the sector. Here with us this evening to assist us navigate through that conversation are some of the great representatives of the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services, Mrs. Kim Bodie, the Chief Executive Director at the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services, Mrs. Jane Gibson, the Chairperson Committee, also an Associate Director at UBS, Mr. Miguel Pratt, the Program Director, and Mr. Jermaine Williams, Deputy Chairman of the Education Committee. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you. It's good evening, Bahamas, and it's good to be here.
So, Ms. Gibson, tell us your role at the Institute of Financial Services, Bahamas Institute of Financial Services, how you assist in the institution, as well as your external role, what did you do for a profession, and some of the history behind the establishment, if you are aware of that, or Ms. Bodie may be able to jump into that. But tell us your role with the Institute.
Yes. Well, my role is a very important one. I'm the education chairperson of the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services. And on this committee, what we always do is we stay on the cutting edge of what's required in the industry for training and development. And my committee is made up of members of throughout the industry. And we pool our ideas, we contact our international sources to stay on the cutting edge of what is required for training and development.
Okay.
I would want to start off by saying I'm a proud alumni of the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services. I've been in the industry for over 30 years. Okay. And BIFS has always been very impactful and proactive in providing quality education and courses and training to equip the industry professionals to meet the changing needs. Okay. BIFS also lead the way in providing the deep dive programs and seminars to cover the legislation that's constantly changing that would impact the industry. Okay. I am currently employed at UBS, private banking. And with this training that I have gotten from BIFS as an alumni, it prepares you and equips you to deal with the international arena as well as the local arena. And it also gives you the opportunity to network and to share your ideas with the regulators, the industry professionals, both local and international.
Okay.
And you also have the opportunity to represent the Bahamas internationally with the different forums that we experience. I will now turn it over to Kim, who would be able to give you a little more in-depth of the background of this.
Mrs. Bodie.
Yes, Mr. Butler.
So often, these types of environments, these types of shows, people lead with you. So I just wanted to change it up a bit. But we do understand that you are the pillar behind the Institute of Financial Services. Tell us, what is the mission and purpose of BIFS, and why is this mission so vitally important to the financial industry?
Well, Javon, the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services was established in 1974.
Okay.
You know, we became an independent nation in 1973.
Mm-hmm.
Our first governor of the central bank returned from the IMF. And so establishing an institution of this nature was very, very important to him, to provide the young Bahamians who would wish to follow a career in the sector an opportunity to receive the kind of quality education and training that was necessary to propel this industry to what it is today. So I must give credence to our founder, Mr. Timothy Boswell Donaldson, who is no longer with us, but who was most certainly a visionary when it comes to education and training of the young Bahamian minds. Okay. And so we owe a debt of gratitude to his efforts in that regard. So, may I also say that all of the governors who followed him supported the work of the industry. And that is in ensuring that the industry, financial institutions also support the work of the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services. Mm-hmm. We have well over 42 member organizations who assist their employees in participating in our programs.
Okay.
Might I also add, which is very important, that our trade union unions have recently, corporate league have recently joined the Institute, and all of the other financial institutions that have come into the industry, all of the money providers, such as Cash and Go and Omni, and even the persons in the gaming sector are now sending their employees to participate in the training offered via the Institute.
Since 74 to now, 2020, what have been some of the changes in the sector that you have seen, and how has it grown and morphed into what it has become today?
Well, you know, I've been around the Institute for some 40 years.
Okay.
This month is my 40th anniversary at the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services.
Congratulations.
I have seen the industry mushroom to what it is today. Mm-hmm. The growth of the sector outside of the regular commercial and offshore sector, seeing the Bahamians moving in the industry, bringing on, becoming a financial services provider is certainly a great advantage to the growth of our economy, and also the mindset of our Bahamians who have trained over the years. And might I say, the Institute have been very instrumental in that, because many of the persons who are at the highest level of the industry, such as my alumni Jermaine and our alumni Jane Gibson, these persons are at the highest level of the industry, and they are doing a phenomenal job. What has also happened over the years, Javon, is the fact that we are considered a pace setter in education and training in the financial services sector, not only here in our country, but in the region and throughout the world, because we have a strong connection with our international partners in the World Banking Institutes.
Okay.
So we are very proud of the work that we are doing, and that we are going to continue to always seek to find the best opportunity to upgrade and address the skills gaps in the sector.
Okay, Mrs. Bodie, we must pause as this show is a paid program. But when we come back, I want to discuss some of those educational opportunities at the Institute. This is You and Your Money. We'll be right back.
Hearing about crypto assets but want to know more? The Securities Commission of the Bahamas can help. What is a crypto asset? Crypto assets are digital assets that are validated by a global network of computers instead of a bank. Are cryptocurrencies legal tender like the Bahamian dollar? Crypto assets, including cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, are not legal tender. The Securities Commission of the Bahamas supervises and regulates the securities and capital markets. Our mission is to protect investors like you. Are you crypto curious? Find out more at scb.gov.bs.
Welcome to Doctors Hospital. As the Bahamas reopens, we at Doctors Hospital have been hard at work preparing for the new normal. The health and safety of our patients, associates, and others entering the hospital space is ever paramount and shapes the experience as you enter our facilities. All persons entering the hospital will be COVID screened, which includes a temperature check and a few short questions. There's also mandatory hand and shoe washing stations upon entry. Masks are required and can be provided if necessary. To further limit contact, Doctors Hospital has launched a concierge service that allows for pre-registration, a hospital itinerary, in-car waiting, and a navigator to guide you through your visit. Our pharmacy is now offering curbside pickup and delivery services for prescriptions as well. Social distancing markers are placed around the facility and scheduling for imaging, including CAT scans, mammograms, and 3T MRIs. Laboratory, including our new same-day COVID-19 PCR testing, rehabilitation, and other services, has also been adjusted. Doctors Hospital is here to serve you with the same quality and care that you've come to expect, even as we enter a new normal. Now, more than ever, Doctors Hospital continues to be trusted and best care now. Isn't your health worth it?
What does support look like? What does it sound like when you feel the pulse of a nation? When you make a difference in the lives of strong, principled, cultured people who are driven by hard work and passion. People who build communities where hospitality is warmly demonstrated because this is the Bahamas, and we're happy to share our wealth. Commonwealth Bank, built by Bahamians, here for Bahamians. Bahamians helping Bahamians.
Welcome back to You and Your Money. This evening, we're here with the contingent from the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services as they inform us of what's going on at the BIFS, as well as what's happening in the industry on a whole. Mr. Pratt, it's your time to step up to the plate, sir.
No problem.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. As Program Director at the Institute, tell us some of the exciting opportunities that are there for those seeking to enter the financial services sector and those who are presently in the sector looking to enhance and advance their present educational experience.
Well, good evening, everyone. As you know, the financial services sector is very fluid, it's very competitive, and as a result, we have partnered with a lot of our international partners to create programs to keep our workforce well-trained, well-informed. As you know, financial services sector is our second pillar of the economy. Okay. It's an economy that has created basically our middle class in here in the Bahamas. And we have a list of internationally accredited programs. One of our newest programs that we're going to launch is the Charter Banker status designation. Okay. It's designed for professionals like yourselves, Devon, for those in senior positions who want to gain that gold standard of Charter Banker status. Okay. Charter Banker status is a unique designation. It's only given out by the Charter Bank in Scotland, who has been our partner for over, I guess, 15 years now, Ms. Bodie. Since
more than 15 years. More than 15 years.
More than 15 years.
40 years of our existence.
We have trained many persons in the master's program. Jermaine, for example, is a Charter Bank MBA.
Okay.
And so we have a wealth of programs designed specifically for the financial services to keep us relevant, to keep us, help protect this industry, so to say.
Okay. And
might I add to what Miguel said, Javon? It's by saying that when you're talking about what is the financial services value position, the value position of the financial services is its people. And so we have to invest in building the skills of our people. And I have traveled to various conferences. In fact, in 2011, we host the conference here in Nassau of the World Banking Institutes. And I was told by many of the colleagues at that conference that the Bahamas have some of the best, the very best bankers, persons in financial services, qualified persons in the financial services. So we have, in the Bahamas, we have a lot to be proud of.
Okay.
A small nation, 47 years independent, we are doing remarkably well.
And I'll swing it back to Mr. Pratt. So, Mr. Pratt, are there any specific recommendations for the new program that's upcoming? How does that existing banker, that existing individual in the financial services sector enroll in that program?
Well, it's a very simple process. Okay. You contact the Institute. The first thing we'll ask for is your CV, your bio. You have to qualify for that program. As I said, the program is designed for senior professionals in financial services.
Okay.
So it's not someone right out of high school. Although we do have programs in financial services, actually from the high school sector straight on to senior development. So as I said, we have a plethora of programs here at the Institute. Most of them are internationally accredited. They're very rigorous. And it's very easy. Just visit our website. It's www.bifs-edu.com or search us on Facebook. We have our Facebook page up live, our Instagram page up live. We're very easy to find, locate us, and we're more than willing to help you. You can call us on the phone. We give advice all the time as regards career paths for persons who want to take in financial services.
Well, Mr. Williams, we didn't invite you to this conversation just for moral support. You have to engage as well. So, Mr. Williams, tell us your role with the Institute and how you see the Institute moving forward and some of the educational opportunities that are there for the general public.
Good evening, Bahamas. It's certainly a pleasure to be here. I am currently serving as the Deputy Education Chairman at the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services, and I give great support to my associates, Art Biffs, Ms. Bodie, Jane Gibson, Miguel Pratt, our Associate Director, who spoke about the program earlier. And they've all done an extremely well job. And so I thought by anchoring this evening's program, by just settling down on some critical and salient points. So right now, I am the Chief Risk Officer at Commonwealth Bank.
Okay.
And I provide oversight for risk management, information security, fraud, financial crime, as well as compliance, and a suite of services providing oversight also in operations. So within the context of the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services, my colleagues, as they would have indicated, this is an incredibly awesome time. You would have talked about earlier financial inclusion, the money transmission businesses, how we've seen the Bahamas evolve to what it is today. The Charter Banking Experience Program is an excellent program that will help to strengthen a lot of our senior professionals, those executives that need to sharpen those rough edges, if I might say, to tighten up and hone in those skills to where we are today. We're navigating through a new norm. And as such, we want to help champion the cause of repositioning, revitalizing the Bahamas and the Institute to the next level. My Director of Education, she would have spoken about developing the Bahamian economy, developing our people. Ms. Bodie, she would have talked about the investment in the Bahamas. And so this is about now a repurposing, a re-strengthening, revitalizing it, getting the Bahamas back to where it needs to be. So BIFS offers comprehensive suite of high quality, industry relevant, cutting edge educational training development programs for every Bahamian, no matter what level you are on.
Okay.
Miguel touched on it, our program director. From high school, we will take you from ground up. I think at some point we may work on from grade 1 at some point. But the reality is we want to nurture the Bahamian people. Yeah. And we have always actually been offering online web-based courses.
Jermaine,
this is not new. This is not new for us.
Jermaine, I'm going to ask you to hold that point. We have to take a commercial break. But when we come back, I want you to go into those online courses. This is You and Your Money. We'll be right back.
What does support look like? What does it sound like when you feel the pulse of a nation? When you make a difference in the lives of strong, principled, cultured people who are driven by hard work and passion. People who build communities where hospitality is warmly demonstrated because this is the Bahamas and we're happy to share our wealth. Commonwealth Bank, built by Bahamians, here for Bahamians. Bahamians helping Bahamians.
Hearing about crypto assets but want to know more? The Securities Commission of the Bahamas can help. What is a crypto asset? Crypto assets are digital assets that are validated by a global network of computers instead of a bank. Are cryptocurrencies legal tender like the Bahamian dollar? Crypto assets, including cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, are not legal tender. The Securities Commission of the Bahamas supervises and regulates the securities and capital markets. Our mission is to protect investors like you. Are you crypto curious? Find out more at scb.gov.bs.
Welcome back to You and Your Money. I'm your host this evening, Javon Butler, and we're joined by representatives from the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services, Mrs. Kim Bodie, Mrs. Jane Gibson, Mr. Miguel Pratt, and Mr. Jermaine Williams. Mr. Williams, before the break, you started to discuss and inform us of the online opportunities for the courses that are offered by the Institute. Would you go into some more detail on that for us, please?
Yes, certainly. It'll be a pleasure. So the online courses offered by the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services, they are very dynamic, very fluid courses that are relevant, industry relevant for the Bahamas today, not just locally, but also internationally. Some of those courses range from the Certified International Risk Manager, Certified Credit Professional. We also have Mastering Mortgages. We also have various other disciplines with wealth management, tax certificates. We have compliance certifications. We have a suite of web-based virtual learning that is fit for the new normal and transition for the Bahamas. And might I add, we have always had these courses. Okay. And what we do, we have refined them over the years to make sure that they are kept up to date, they remain relevant, and they also allow us to balance the knowledge garnered internationally to ensure that our local practitioners and economy is enriched with that ongoing cutting-edge knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and Miguel, Jermaine mentioned that these courses were always available. However, during this new norm has been created through COVID. How has that impacted the participation of these courses by the students at the Institute?
Well, Javon, I'm proud to say that the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services was one of the first tertiary education to offer live online classes. In 2006, we had our Family Islanders signed in, registered for the Certified International Financial Planner. Therefore, we invested in an online platform as early as 2006, very similar to Zoom, where we had Freeport, Abaco, Exuma, and Eleuthero all online here, live with Nassau.
Okay.
So when the COVID pandemic came into place, it was a very smooth transition for us from the face-to-face classroom to the online, to Zoom. Most of our alumni are very computer savvy, so it's a very small learning curve. And it's been very successful. A lot of people there are a lot of advantages of staying home and from the glass. I mean, it's basically, it is still face-to-face.
Yeah.
As the platform shows, we can interact with our lecturers, we can interact with the students, just like being in a classroom setting. Okay. So it has, in other words, it has enhanced, I think, the learning experience.
Yeah. So Mrs. Gibson,
yes.
How do people find out more about the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services and apply for courses and certifications?
Well, we have our online website that they can go to.
Okay.
They can also contact us locally. We have a representative at our office. They can contact us by phone, as well as Facebook. So the social media is live that they can activate all of our information.
Gail, would you want to give the website and the phone number just so
that's not a problem. Folks, it's very easy. Just Google Bahamas Institute of Financial Services. You'll find us. Facebook us, BIFS. You'll find us. All the direct. It's bifs-edu.com. Very easy to find.
And Mrs. Bodie,
yay.
I'm giving you 3 full minutes as the Chief Executive Director. During the break, you mentioned to Miguel and Jermaine, they are the future. They are the way forward for the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services. You've been a part of the organization for 40 years. You've seen the growth. It's interesting you mentioned 1974. That would have been the same year the Central Bank of the Bahamas came into existence.
Yes.
Where do you wish to see the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services move in the next 5, 10, 20 years? And what would you say to individuals such as Jermaine, Miguel, myself, who also has participated in some of the courses, of remaining involved or getting more involved with the Institute?
Okay, Javon is a training organization. So these persons, our alumni that you see participating in this interview today, are the future of this institute. Jermaine has already come back to give service.
Okay.
He is one of the lecturers for us and a very, very good lecturer. I want to also mention the involvement of our member banks, our 40-odd member organizations who pay an annual membership fee to the Institute to keep us operating at the level for which we are operating. I also want to mention the lecturers who support our work, who are all practitioners and who are giving us a stellar job. So, and particularly the regulators. We have the, the Central Bank and the Securities Commission. All of the regulators are on board with the Institute. And so we have been blessed to keep that membership going for all these many years. And it's very important to our continuing operating at the level in which we are. And so it is important that they continue to support the work of the Institute, to give support to these young people who will carry on this work that was started by the first governor of the Central Bank. We also see the future. Some years ago, we put together our strategic plan. And in that strategic plan, we talked about taking our training beyond the borders of the Bahamas. And so that is what we are working on as well. We are extending our training to our partners in the Cayman Islands. We have been training in the Turks and Caicos Islands. We are collaborating with our regional partners in Trinidad and Barbados and Jamaica. so that we can understand what they're doing in that jurisdiction. And we continue to offer the courses that are relevant to not only the Bahamas, but to the region.
Yeah.
And of course, our collaboration with our international partners, that we take our training to them, that some of these experts that we have here in the Bahamas who are training for the Institute could someday go abroad and train there. So it could be collaborative training. It's very important to continue to highlight the skills that are available in this second pillar of our economy. Financial services, I think it was said earlier, is very, very important to the recovery of our industry and our country at this particular time. And so we're in a new normal, and so we are finding ways, and we're thinking about ways, we're brainstorming about ways to bring our training, make our training to continue to be relevant to this industry.
Mrs. Bodie, Mrs. Gibson, Mr. Pratt, Mr. Williams, I thank you all for joining us this evening. Mrs. Bodie, you've done a phenomenal job at the Bahamas Institute of Financial Services.
Thank you.
And continue to be encouraged, and during this new norm, continue to show us the way forward. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
This has been another wonderful episode of You and Your Money. It was indeed our pleasure to have you join us this evening. Good night. God bless.
Come on.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Recently, somebody wrote me this on Facebook. Pastor Rick, I've walked down many roads searching for happiness, but nothing is ever as good as it promises to be. I'm frustrated. I just want to be happy. Can you help me? And I would say to that person, if you're watching online right now, absolutely, I can help you. I want to start this series by giving you what I call 5 laws of happiness. Number 1, don't look for happiness, create it. Happiness is not something you look for. Happiness is something you create. And it's your choice. You're as happy as you choose to be. Actually, it's quite easy to create it, and we're going to be looking at it in this series. Number 2, happiness is not a goal. Happiness is not a goal. It's actually the result of right thinking, right living, right acting. It's the byproduct. If you make happiness the goal of your life, you're going to live a very self-centered life. And that's going to end up making you miserable. Making happiness the goal of your life will guarantee that you're never going to be happy. Happiness is never the goal. It is always the result. It's always the byproduct of something else.